Okay, cool. Hi, everybody. Nice small crowd. I knew it might be small after 2:45, but of course my boss is stuck around to make sure I did all right. I've been teaching biology for 5-6 years, but life science at 7th grade before that. So what I'm going to just share with you is some cheap stuff that I've kind of either upped or downed over the years and added to and parts and pieced it. I'm a junk collector. My colleagues know me where I'm the guy that they come to with all these boxes of odd stuff. I can't throw anything out. Got to keep it at school because the wife doesn't let me keep it at home. So if you're like that, I think this is what I'm going to be showing you today. I'm going to try to give you a little bit on each of our regular state biology standards as they are right now, as we know them. They may change. And I'll just give you some highlights, and you can take and twist these. And of course, I've got them saved. My main documents are saved up there for tweaking. I had a favorite teacher that said just tweak it, and twist it, and make it yours. So feel free to do that. And the first one I handed out is just a couple bags. You can kind of pass up and down the row. This is my favorite one that I've come up with. So I start with my favorite, and that is this inquiry on cell organelles. I just save all kinds of parts and pieces, and either as a prelude into it or just after teaching the basics or having them do a simple lookup because 7th grade they learn most of it, right? So in the 9th grade, I have them basically reviewing what they learned in 7th grade, but get them to think a little bit deeper, and this is the way I do it. I get these bags, we toss them around, make them move around, and they have to talk to each other either in group work or otherwise. I try to, depending on my classes that year, I have them pull a piece, which one of these is the nucleus, why would you say it's the nucleus, a couple of neat things in the bag. I have a whole bunch of extras. I can't ever throw anything away, so these make great what?
Cell membrane.
Cell membrane, right? And you get cell wall, and you got to say, well, tell me why it's meant this way or the other. And then I take a squirt bottle, I shoot right through it at them. And I have a little bit, have a little fun with that. So selective permeable, I start sneaking in the vocab.
Is your cheetah fleet place where you're going to spray it too?
You know, that favorite. It's amazing all the junk you can collect. So these you could maybe say cell wall depending on the kid. And they could argue either way. You get high-level kids. Me and a colleague up here were talking about high-level classes. You could even get them to start talking about is the cell wall. How do you get things through the cell wall? And you could go even higher vocab if you wanted to for AP or IB. I'm an IB teacher as well, so I have to sometimes twist everything I have even up further. So I do that through just deep thoughts on that. I recently just came up with adding the batteries. It's funny, over the years you can add a couple better things into it. I had just simple quarks and centrioles, or then I have wine corks kind of thing. I have them, like some of them I think I label it with ATP. I just write ATP and I want them to get mitochondria. Well, how boring that is. Just an old battery in there makes it think even better, I think. That it's sort of tweaked it better and better, and hopefully if you got ideas, let me know if you want to come up with something better. I like this one, and that is the endoplasmic reticulum with nuts tied to it representing the ribosomes. And then a couple free nuts might be thrown in the bag. It was my best come up with that. That was my harder challenge for myself. How do you come up with something in there that you can mess with? Water bath, and it's really good for you pick on your lowest student that might not be too bright. To say the water bottle. I mean, they can say the vacuole. Anybody who gets that way. So it's kind of nice. I think I got some people that told me they're 7th grade teachers in the room. I bet you most of this you could use too, probably. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So. You could disclude some of it. I was trying. Sometimes I go with the microfibers and stuff. Sometimes it's not worth it. So it depends. Centrioles is a question mark for me too. I haven't come up with a great centriole, though. Could you imagine like doll figurines of Woody, as in like my roper that would rope and pull? That's always what I wanted to do, but I'm not gonna. I ain't gonna go buy a bunch of little Woody dolls. But wouldn't that be kind of cool to add to the mix? But anyway. A couple of neat ideas in there for that. Any other things we could add, or anybody wants to think that I might be missing?
Little fishing poles.
Oh yeah, that would work. Little fishing poles. I have a 4-year-old, 2-year-old. I know what you mean. I could easily make them even.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good. Put 2 of them in each bag. Yeah. Every year I think I had 2 bags. Now I'm up to about 6-7 bags of these. So it's like kind of that's again the junk collectors. Anybody have a better idea for a nucleus? I mean, of course, they all guess the big ball, but I wish I could put DNA inside it. I would like to get them that concept that DNA's inside there. And I thought about printing off little, like really nice colored printer and make it the nice double helix and just a strip of it and just, somehow sticking it in there. I think that would be a nice way of tweaking it up again.
Or instead of doing that, instead like the little stringers are already crumpled up,
Yeah.
like the Easter grass or whatever.
Yeah, like Easter grass. That would be good.
Yeah.
For wrappings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just hang that
Throw that in there.
Yeah.
For more evidence, and I like to ask them, what's your evidence for saying that's the nucleus? Now that would really be.
You can get the pipe cleaners and cut them. These holes are big enough, you could actually
and just
twist
line
them and put them
And
there.
Twist
little
and put it in.
X's like chromosomes. Yeah.
So kind of a fun little twist to the game. Cool. And the other thing that I've done on cell, I did this in 7th grade a lot, and when I went to the high school and started teaching 9th grade, I did a cell analogy project, right? And I don't personally, I don't believe these stupid styrofoam ball things. Sorry if I offend anybody. Don't tell me to do that because I think it's crazy. The styrofoam ball cells are just to me the stupidest things in the world. And so I'd always make them do a cell analogy project. I got a box full of great ones. I'm not going to pull them out right now, but if you want to see some samples, famous one was a kid came to me and said she was very religious and she wanted to do the Bible, and she did it. Like she took apart she said the binding is this, the different books, God is this, Jesus is this, the different authors. Now that was one of the hardest cell analogies I've ever seen accomplished. Okay. But at the time of when I do teach the cell analogy and to give that project, I give them a sample, and if you want to come take a closer look, I'll just hold a couple pieces up. I make this a sample wall, and it covers the entire wall like this. Is just a few pieces of it, where I say, okay, everybody, if the mitochondria provides energy, what in the city of Carrollton, where I'm from, provides energy? Okay, this is from my old place where I used to live, but this is an actual local dam of Hickory, North Carolina, where I first started teaching. And so I'd have them say, it would be the dam that provides energy. And the kid that answers it, I go and give it to him, and he has to put it up on the wall. It's nice and interactive, and so each kid, try to get each kid to kind of have a part to hang up on the wall, and it creates a beautiful board, and then they have that to refer to when they start making their own analogy, and that's a lot of fun. This year, because I recently moved 3 years ago, I'm still tweaking it to be more local, very local. I have like local landmarks made up, and then I actually will have them guess, what would that best represent in the cell? After we study the basics. So that's kind of neat. It gives good thinking. And I'm thinking STEM. I'm just thinking that deep thinking here. Obviously, as I'm going for inquiries, deep thinking. That's how almost everything that you're going to see today is just trying to get that type of thinking going on. One of my favorite parts of this, just in case you'd want to do that, I think this looks cool. Is I took a bunch of what do you call it? Brads. And it's to hook together a bunch of city limits and for the cell membrane, because you can get through it, and stuff. And I have them tell me why is that. So that's really cool, and the kids really have fun putting that up on the wall, placing it around the whole thing. This is just a piece, but I have a huge section of it, and it covers the whole wall. So it's just, I still believe in it, even at the 9th grade level. In fact, to be honest with you, the 7th grade teachers in here, I had better projects from 7th graders than I do from 9th graders.
Mine love it. I mean.
You do it?
Yes, they love it.
Yeah.
They
Do you get a box full of samples every year?
Well, they don't have to bring anything in, but they have to write it out and draw it. But yeah,
Some kids brought in like a box.
Yeah, they could do it.
Like they could
3D.
plan objects and describe how each of those, and and we got posters.
we don't like say only your hometown. Like, we can do.
Yeah.
They can do anything, and they can
And
come
so
up
one
with
kid do a truck, parts of a truck, and did the cell
prisons,
organelles.
and I mean they come up with it because I tell them they have to research it.
You have to
You
look
can't
in
just
it.
come off
Yeah.
just the top of your head. You have to actually research it. So.
I think I had good score in that area when they did that, right? Made it personal. I'm sure you had kids like that. I had a kid that owned his mom and dad ran a Japanese restaurant, so he did the whole restaurant in a booklet. It's fun. Brainstorm my favorite projects. I had a kid take apart his model from when he was a little kid, because usually you can talk them into it too. Hey, you got a model sitting around of a car that you love and you want to buy someday, but now you don't want the model anymore. Tear it apart, glue it down in a big cardboard, and then make it 3D. That was cool. I had a couple of those.
We did 1 year when I could talk with a life science teacher. she did cards. She had a picture of the organelle, the word, the definition, and then we did the analogy with the mall. So like the cytoplasm was the hallway, and the food court was mitochondria, and all the sort of powerhouse, or the gym. Anyway, but what's interesting, after they did a couple things, she actually had laminated cards and they would match. And some of our special ed students, when they were doing the test, I literally saw one kid go, close his eyes, and I saw him putting cards, like that visual.
That's
We're doing
the next one I'll share with you is my newest invention of the year. Oop, did I skip? Thinking about which one. Oh yeah, this one. This is cool. Okay, so I tried to come up with a cell transport one. Me and my team actually said we were going to do it last year, and we just it just never happened. And we stumbled on a whole bunch of Q-tips. We were talking about 10 boxes that some old teacher, that had retired and left in the corner. I love to get stuff like that. And I made this. I'm going to give everybody one to see what's in this thing. And I might want to just challenge you more, like, okay, if I just give it to you, you think of what I would ask, okay? So I got enough of these for everybody to take a look at and say, what would you do with it if you were, obviously the teacher and asking kids to do this? And take out everything out of the bag. The only thing I'll probably have to explain a little bit is the back. No, I'm not going to tell you what the background is. You can figure out the background of it and see how it might piece together in everybody's room. For some of the materials here are just Q-tips. There was a construction site down the road from me, so I wasn't sure if I'm supposed to do that. Maybe you didn't hear me say this, but I got a whole piece of meat pie, so I kind of just chopped it up. Obviously, lima beans, a couple things I found. Inside there might be a small bag of little bitty beads that somebody left me, an arts teacher. That was cool. Okay. I'll just hand out just for a few minutes to explore and to see what you think in this. How would you set that map? Basically, you got a map. How would you make the cell membrane? Sure. And this is my worksheet that I used this year that matches it with a step-by-step. I'll be honest with you, I think I could do better. I've already, after doing it, I'm like, okay, maybe I might go back and tweak it a little bit. I don't know how many people go to the cell membrane at what level. But at freshman level, I forget 7th grade level, but at 9th grade level, we have to go pretty far into it. And my AP friend up here, if you're anybody AP as well? No other AP or IB? Okay, then you really have to spin this up. So this one's designed for 9th grade, yet could be probably made easier, and you could easily make this harder. Do you guys if you look at the materials, can you see how you make the cell membrane? You take the heads of the Q-tips and put it in the right spot, the tails are in the right spot. And my directions were made for my pre-AP class to do it fairly I'd like to see if they can follow the directions, and just figure it out. And that's what you see some pictures of up there, some pre-AP students. And they pretty much figured it out. Now I'm going to tell you my downfall, again, I first made this year, is that it takes longer than I thought. I didn't get going on it right away. I tried to give a little, about 20 minutes of information at the beginning. And boy, I ran way too tight on time. I have 90-minute blocks. I think I needed the 90-minute block to, just here you go, get it, do it. Otherwise, you're not going to get it done. For your 7th grade teachers, I would make it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Take out some of the materials. Like you wouldn't need the red pipes for anybody want to know what the red pipe would be?
Channel proteins.
They have to transport channel proteins. The little beads represent water, and I was going to try to get them to get the idea of the hypotonicity and hypertonicity and isotonic. So if you go into the directions all the way, I'm trying to not just take the structure, but go all into that too. So I tried to bring it, that's quite a bit of material. That's a lot of stuff in there. So this is why I really, in hindsight, next year, I'll go 90 minutes, have taught everything beforehand. Otherwise, I don't think they're going to be able to work their way through this and really comprehend it. Because if you were to do this, you basically have you moving the beads back and forth, and it becomes a visual of, of the isotonic and stuff situation. Pretty cool, huh? Nice guy. I had an intern that helped me set up all the bags. That was helpful too. Yeah, because there's a lot of just cutting and getting all the materials in one spot. For time runners, I'm going to show you a lot of stuff, so you can take what you want with you, kind of in the sense of ideas. So that's that one. And we just started, me and my team of teachers been working with Punnett squares this last week and moving into a little sample of dihybrids at the 9th grade level. I think if you were a 9th grade teacher, we could sit here and kind of argue whether we should really go, how far to go in the dihybrids. I think you have to show them. But then if you've got a class that can't quite handle it, it's a very tricky one. You don't do it in 7th grade, do you? Dihybrid?
No.
Yeah.
We do
We do Punnett squares.
Okay, I think you could make this a Punnett square in a fun way. Okay, I'm going to have to hold this up big time. There's my big dihybrid. And I used it with 9th graders, and then I used it with my IB. So you could use it in AP. And you could make this as hard or easy as you want. And that was really fun. So I had a strong group come in about 3 weeks ago. We did this. And I literally said, okay, I want a homozygous recessive crossed with a heterozygous. 2 traits. I just said that, and they were on their own. And they had to stay, they all gathered around as a group, and they had a whole bunch of these cards. I got a big box of these where there's not the right amount, there's extras, you know, where there's just like a whole bunch of the yellows, a whole bunch of green. And then they had to start figuring out, you know, how would it work, okay? And of course the kids all like my sperm, okay, sorry. That's the fun biology statement, you know what I mean? Woo! So I do that, and they had fun. Now, I passed this around my other teachers, started seeing it, my other bio teachers at different levels, and they wanted to borrow it. And so we were all brainstorming, and I think I could do better. I always like to think of what I could do next, right? And I think I could get like a set of cards made. And in fact, I was brainstorming earlier today. I said, okay, I could have all these cards, and I had to just randomly pick from a set of cards and cross it, you know, and come up with all the ratios and, you know, that kind of. I don't even have a fancy worksheet that goes with this, because this I could use at the beginning or end, and, you know, you can use this as demo and that kind of thing. So I hope you don't mind, but this is kind of just my big sample. Punnett square. I should really make one for my 9th graders at the lower level. And have them do this. That'd be kind of fun and cool. So, I'll show you something that's kind of crazy. Has anybody used Plickers? Okay, quite a few of you have. Well, not all. You haven't used Plickers?
I've used Poll Everywhere.
Poll Everywhere. Okay, and you know. Okay, well. I'll introduce it. I won't spend. I'm going to spend a lot, just quick time on a little bit of things so you can see what you want, right? Plickers, if you haven't used it, but most of you haven't, is you got these cards. I'll give you all a card with a quick try, just to give it a quick sample round. I like them because you don't have to have the kids have a cell phone. Okay, you know, you guys
walk
get
around with your device.
Yeah, you know, Kahoot's great, but when all of a sudden I want to do a Kahoot, oh, my phone's not working. You know, they don't want to do it. He's shaking his. You know what I mean. So
it's
this,
hard for them to cheat.
This one you can't cheat so much. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to give you an actual set of my students right now.
Sure, of course.
You didn't know the answers?
No.
Okay, I'll give you the quiz that I made recently. Now, just about 3 weeks ago, Plickers added something to their website. And it basically said, hey, we know teachers want to have the ability to collect data, right? So that this is otherwise really a fun thing, but only for maybe a ticket out the door or that kind of thing, because it's really hard to actually collect the data and put a grade in the grade book, too much work. Where they said they were going to add a way of basically giving a quiz and collecting it and exporting and stuff. Okay, me and my friend haven't quite done the distance on it yet. It's available, but we haven't, you know, went that far. So I think it can be done. I just have to do it myself yet. But the actual implementation of what you're about to do is very easy. And okay, if you look at your card, as I pull up my little app, you don't need a phone. Only I do. This is going to be a little tricky because I've never done it outside of my classroom. Is I'm going to pull up a question on the big board, and you hold your card up whether you think the answer is A, B, C, or D. If you look real light, there's a real little small A, B, and you hit the letter that you want to be the right answer, you hold it to the top. And it's real, the kids like it. Don't do 10 questions. I did 10 questions. 10 questions was too much. Yeah, it's just too much for them. 5 would be probably just about right. Okay. I don't know if I have to go out of this program or will it send it to me. No, I think I can send it to this. I haven't tried it here in the new system. Okay, it's not coming. Oh, I think I have to come up on here too. That would make sense. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I'd have to go on clickers here too. So if I got internet access, this is easy. And oh, by the way, on that part, you don't have to have strong internet access because only me and this main computer need it. So that's kind of good. Oh, nope, sorry, I didn't. Sorry. Okay, think I'm in. Once you come up as a teacher, I would have probably had this all set up if I was going to do this at the beginning or end of my class. Hit classes. I've got a couple classes in here. You guys are my pre-AP for today. Okay. And there's, you match up, your card matches up with one of those wonderful students. Okay. Okay. And I'm going to hit live view so I can now use my phone to put the question up there. Which, there we go. That actually is working. I'm going to hit the lights. So this is pretty cool. So right now my phone sees you, and as soon as you hold up the card, it will start collecting data. Obviously, I'm not the inventor of this, by the way. I'm taking credit for actually my tech person that's here, a librarian that shared it with me, and then I played with it. And for some reason, it's not catching on as much as I think it should because it's so easy. And I hope I got everybody if you did. If you did not catch it.
She's not a librarian, she's a media guru.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a librarian.
Okay, it doesn't want to get it. It doesn't want. And oh, there we go. Maybe it'll. Sometimes if you, when I train the kids on this, I do a lot of easy, really funny, silly questions for the first time. And I'll teach them to hold it up without their thumb or hand, and you get a couple kids wanting to wrinkle it. And then the other day when I was trying to do it, and I was trying to actually really get some real stuff done, I just basically gave them a time. Like, you got to show me, I'm done, okay. And I moved down, and they were out of luck. That put the pressure on. So if you had to, it worked. So if I could go to the computer and hit reveal answer and show you if you were right or wrong, right? And it's surprising the kids love that. If you haven't done this before, they love to see it, and they love to harass each other, get that peer pressure on. I'm surprised, actually, how much they do this at the level I'm teaching. You want to know it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to see what it looks like when you get there. Right?
So you can hit that. Putting in this question was very, very easy. I could copy paste a question into it. So it's that easy to put a question in. And of course you have to trigger what answer I wanted. You could now the neat thing is you can hit the graph. See how many people are right or wrong. And then this one's really good, I think mainly to discuss, you know. This leads to really good discussion. Go, why everybody picked that? Tell me why you think you picked that. And I had really good, conversations with kids and stuff where they're at. On my screen, I get all this data. So if I didn't want to show you, I didn't have to show you. But personally, I was like looking, going, "Holy cow, you guys are all wrong." So that was really funny. So I could sit there and monitor it myself, or decide to show you. Okay, we'll do one more just for fun here. Let's see. There you go. I'll hide back the answer. You have to practice it. Again, it's been about 3 weeks, and even I'm slow at it. But you can actually, once you get good at it, if you do it, every once in a while, there's a way of just triggering this, like hitting my phone faster and moving along quicker, which is kind of nice. Okay. And I set it up recently. Oh, this is a tough one. Oh man, I accidentally hit a tough one here. Sorry.
So the correct answer goes to 12.
It is coming.
Correct answer goes to 12.
Okay, see. Oh, it took a second there. So if you have slow internet access in your room, you might not want to mess with it. You really would. But this is a tough one. Sorry, people. I accidentally grabbed it hard on it.
I think so.
So during normal, my time accelerated there. So I had 4 probes will produce $2. My students did horrible on this one. Man, they did bad.
I'm not even going to look at the answer and guess.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, you're wrong. Oh, by the way, this is the fun part. What I'm seeing is red and green flashes by your head. So if I see a red flash, I instantly know you were right. Red meaning wrong. Okay, and green meaning you were right. So it's really kind of funny. So you got your ideas on your students, right? And I think I should probably have the light turn, it's a little bit dark in the room for picking up the data. And even though I walk back here, it's pretty good at collecting data from the far in the back of the room. The better I get at it, the more I use it, I've gotten it faster.
That's
now.
really a trick question too. That's a question like, where is Chicago, Ohio?
Yeah. This is a beast, right? This is a beast. I don't think I invented this. I found it and kind of thought I was going to play with my kids.
That's a good one.
Okay. So, want to know it? There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
That's what's answered.
So since it says mitosis, and it had
What I tell
4
you how to do.
chromosomes, each one would have 4 chromosomes. It doesn't do the meiosis down to 2. All my students were guessing 2 because I was teaching sex, I was hitting sex. I messed them up bad with this. But anyway, this is a fun thing to play with, and this one requires very little effort for you, right? You go to the plickers.com website and you print these off. Me and a young guy that I work with, we debate on how to use it, but I personally like it where I put the kids' names on it and then I use it. I give them back out and I collect them back up. That way I can use them. Throughout there. You could do it like he's doing it, where he just has one set and he gives it out, but then you're not going to get real personal data. So I don't think it took much time and effort for me to do this. So that's just my personal recommendation on that one.
Have you tried laminating? Will it
Oh,
work with?
don't laminate them. Yeah. I'm glad you asked. The reflection, according to other people, I've never tried it, but they say don't bother to laminate them.
I tried it.
It did it work?
Yeah, I already put all their names on it and everything.
And then it didn't work?
It didn't work.
Okay, cool.
You can order them if you want to order cards, though. They have them with the matte finish, so they'll still show up.
I ran a card stock until I ran out of it, and then I, kind of went with it is. But card stock will last longer for sure, that kind of. But it's pretty fun. Okay. I'm about to show you a fun thing I've tried over the years. Before I show you this one, I'll show you just a quick thing on the play. I used to do this more, and it depends on my class if I can do it. And I actually have a big, long wooden stick with Velcro running the whole distance. 2 of them, actually. And then I couldn't bring them along in the car. I literally about that size of this room, okay? And I put a series of the ATCGs up there. And then I have another stick that comes along and matches it to your, for replication, and I have them match it up, okay? And I have a whole bunch of, just cards with Velcro on the backside, okay? That's a real fun little thing. And then I have a short stick about half the size for my mRNA, okay? And then, of course, the U's for uracil. And I do that. And then what I like to do is, on a room like this, it would be really cool, because I could do the DNA replication up here, and we put that aside, do the mRNA, and then take the mRNA to the back of the room and bring individual students, and I call it the play. I really try to put it on like a play, like, characters walking around and doing certain things, and then they have to go match it up to the mRNA board, and it's a lot of fun. And I have Velcro on it, because I don't want to think on the spot too fast. I give little hints to me which one goes where next, for fast speed. I hate to say it, but you don't want to be caught in the middle of something, right? So, and that's what these pieces are for. So it's really fun to make these, and they last forever. I've had these for like 5-6 years, so I kind of do it every year, and it's kind of fun. So that's one of the things I do for protein synthesis, which is one of my favorite topics. And years ago, most people could Google it, you find it. It's a thing called CHOMPS, and it's a fictitious character that's created using DNA to mRNA and then to a secret code, which is not quite amino acid sequences, but it's supposed to simulate that feel. Okay, so I'm going to give everybody a different one. By the way, I didn't like it, so I wanted to make it real animals. What's the point of making a fictitious animal? That's kind of silly, especially for 9th graders. I actually think 7th graders would work better with this too. These are actual pictures of what they created. And what they do is, I'll give you one to see once, but basically they read a story, and it's the whole story of protein synthesis that I've been working with them on. And then they're on their own. I worked with a partner that said, well, don't I have to teach them how to do it? I said, no. You already told them basics, let them figure it out. And this is one of those that you can let them figure it out. And they take DNA to mRNA, and then they have to jump to the back of the sheet with this coding, and they get 6 characteristics to basically figure out what creature they have. Now, it was very hard to, it's very hard to do, to be honest with you. So if you do this, please steal mine. And if you come up with some more variety, I want to make a jungle, send it back to me, kind of shoot, hey, I made an anteater or whatever, right? because they're real tricky to make. Because what I did is I had to reverse engineer, and by the way, I had my IB kids last year try it. They couldn't do it. So it's like a teacher had to do it. It took more thinking than even a high level kid could. I still think it would be a worthy challenge for your super high kid, because you have to reverse engineer, okay, what is the 6 characteristic of this that you want to secretly tell somebody? Here's the 6 characteristics they find, but you don't want it to give away. You want it to be kind of subtle, where you go, okay, this is a brown spotted, it's got long legs, 4-legged. They can't guess right now, right? They have to go. I want them to make sure they finished it, right? So it all leads up to a final characteristic that usually gives it away. So that reverse engineer is what I mean is the hard part, right? And this one's the tall, long neck. I got to tell a story. So up until only a year or 2 ago, I think I had only 3 animals. And I made one like I worked at Troup County High School in LaGrange for 2 years, and they had a tiger as the mascot, so I made a tiger. We're the Trojans right now. I can't make a Trojan, sorry. We could go somewhere with that. Sorry, I'm not going to. Okay, so I'm not going to make a Trojan. But
That's too easy.
Yeah, that's too easy, right? So anyway, I had 3 animals, and this last year I needed more. I've been desiring more over the last 5 years of having these 3 animals. Well, what I did is I took the 3 and I spun each one into 5 other ones, roughly or something like that. So I got about 12 or so to give you. So if you go to my file, which you have access to, you can find a whole bunch of different animals. What I like to do is, but each, if a kid got smart, you're going to see my secret pattern where I just twisted it a little bit to make my another animal or 2. So you might see that. What I want to do eventually is come up with another 2 or 3 core where the DNA and mRNA and the amino acids are totally separated different, where you couldn't look at your neighbors and figure out at all anything. Again, it would be tough already, but then I'd come up with more of a jungle. So if I could, anybody want to come out and stand? I can't stand sitting because I'm my work teacher. If anybody wants to stand up and walk around and give people a couple of these, feel free to come on up here. I'm going to hand out a couple. And I had to come up with a code, okay? And because as a teacher, I kind of needed to know what the kid was going to end up having, so I could walk by really, really fast. So they never caught it, and they still haven't caught it, but I'd make a 1 bold letter somewhere on the sheet of paper. There's a bold letter E for elephant, there's a bold letter C for cheetah, there's a BP for Black Panther in the corner. And so I could walk by and go, you're copying your neighbor, and that ain't right. Because I knew I could tell it was hilarious. I had so much fun with it. This last year was great. Okay. So that was a lot of fun. If you pull up my files on this one, I'm going to give you guys a sample here what it looks like. You the best thing is if you like this, grab it off the file.
And he's like this every day? Every day?
All day.
We have to keep coffee away from him.
I don't keep the
No
coffee. I supply all day, every day.
No coffee.
Okay, some people got the LP for leopard. See, the cheetahs and the leopards wanted to cheat this year. They kind of wanted, they were looking at each other, and it was close, the DNA coding was close, but of course the cheetah had, I ended up making sure the cheetah had the speed, and the leopard had the spots at the final. So that's what I mean by reverse engineering. I mean, I tried to make sure I was tricking the kid, pretty good. They had to do it, And anyway, I'll get you. So these are just samples, but I'd love to have you have access to all of them that you'd have on file. This year, I had so many more. This is my box full of different ones. So I got the cheetah, so I have to grab them all out and stack them up when I give them out to the kids so that everybody has a different one.
What's animal F?
Yeah. Let's see, an F? Ooh, let me see, because I don't know, maybe there's a different code letter on it. BP Black Panther. I switched the code. Okay. Some people have the code, and that's an anteater.
And he wouldn't do anything as simple as a frog.
Yeah.
It'd be like a platypus or something like that.
To bet, I had an elephant. I don't know, I was thinking too low level. I thought of a pink elephant. But the kids said pink. I mean, I had the trunk coming out like one of the last characteristics, and pink was in there. The pink was throwing them off. So I had to make it gray, but since I already had pink, guess what I made? A pink. So all I had to do is shrink change the long nose to a short stubby nose, and so it was pretty cool. I could mess with it. It was too fun to make. But it took me for each one of the animals I added to the story. It was probably a good hour of making sure it was going to work. But so feel free to steal all of them because they're kind of fun, Okay, cool. You like? Okay, so how are we doing on time? I want to give you a lot of stuff. Okay, gave you-
3:20.
Okay. This one is a new one this year that I played with. I'm kind of proud of as well. It's not, it needs tweaking, might need a little bit of work, but basically this is, I don't have a picture of this one because I almost couldn't find it. I had an intern help me put it together. We found a bunch of this weird stuff in the box. Okay? You know how it is, you find one. And I'm just sure it was to put some, I don't know, whatever, macromolecules of some sort or whatever, but it was so left in disarray. I didn't know what I was going to, could have thrown it out. So we realized that, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 carbons glued together. There's my cell respiration, here's my glucose. And then I have a direction set that'll take them so they've separated for glycolysis, and then take it piece by piece apart, going, for full cell respiration. Along with it, we came up with little cups that was spent and produced in the sense of ATP. So the directions will make them do one thing at a time and put pennies in each cup for money as ATP is worth something. Okay, so that was kind of cool. My intern that I had at the time wanted to add oxygen and carbon dioxide. Well, sorry, I'm on the spot. Oxygen and hydrogen. Yeah, and do that in the cup. I thought that was too much. To be honest with you, what do you want them to remember? You want them to, the ATP outfit and the names and what happens. I thought that was a little too high level, even for what I needed to do this year. But I think for AP, we might spin it up. For my IB, I could probably spin it up a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. Do you want to see one real quick? So, would you want to have it?
Sure.
Here, give them all one of these just to get a quick peek at kind of where it would start on this, and we'll give you one of these just to take a quick look at, and a worksheet that would guide you through it, just to kind of keep you kind of figuring out what you do.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. He was the one on the Apollo that fit the square box in the round tube. He's the one that got Apollo 11 back there. Or 13, excuse me, 13.
I'll skip passing these out with pennies. I gave my pennies to the recent donation of some fundraiser. I don't know, at our school.
Yeah.
I don't know how that goes. So I just dumped all the pennies in there, but every year I get my new pennies is better off. But take a quick peek at that. You see that we tried to give them a guided inquiries basically to step through it. Again, this is a cooperation with me and my recent intern. I think I need to make it easier. They struggle through this, again, with the red sphere and the black spheres represent carbon dioxide. I want to just, to be honest with you, I want to go back and rework that and take that off and keep it simpler. There's a real fun video clip I showed with this kind of, it's on the edge, it's kind of one of those edgy things where you don't want a principal walk in, where it shows past political candidates in a cartoon form, and I wish I could have brought it up. I didn't think of it until just on the spot here, and they show them spending money at like a bank, and then one actually goes to a bar. Okay, so it's a little bit edgy, but it's not totally inappropriate, but it's close. Okay, and basically spending money and how much money they get back from the bank. And I liked it. I showed it, and then they did this. That was pretty cool. It piggybacked real nice. Okay, but you can see that if you take a peek at this, I think it's just a little too high level, a little too wordy. I think it needs to be made more simple. And that's from a 9th grade teacher that works with much the lower end. You might be able to use this out of the cuff with our higher classes. If you could want, you could just delete a couple things if you want to make that. Cool. Oh, by the way, I forgot to. If you really were to go ahead and do this and work it all out, like it would take some time. It's nice to have a little background. And this is my intern's work, but I want to do this better next year, where I get an actual better picture that's colored and laminated, and I'll put it in a box and really have it on the road show for next year a little better. So that's how I like to do it.
Your principal might let you order that.
What's that?
Your principal might let you order a picture.
Oh yeah.
Probably so.
By the way, if you notice, I'm the junk collector. If you ever need, years ago when I first got trained, I worked with this cool team in Wisconsin. I'm from Wisconsin, so my accent's a little weird. Okay. These guys that I worked with were a crazy dynamic team. We had closets along the one wall, and you'd open up the closets, and they had a box for everything. So I'm trying to emulate that over the years. I keep on adding. My room's got boxes everywhere with, I kind of just laminate some nice paper on it and say what it is, and it's been helpful. Except this one I snuck in the cabinet and hid in the back. So I literally found it yesterday, and I wanted to show you some bad too. Anyway, so that's that one. I want to make sure I show you just here's a couple kids. This one I didn't bring anything to show you, but just to inspire you that I think is my favorite one, but there's nothing really to show you. And as I do a lichen lab, I have a worksheet, really simple worksheet where there's a couple key instructions go, look at it, color it, draw it, what do you see, what do you smell, okay? I can't, this is my favorite, my other team members think I'm nuts, but I don't care, because look at how happy the kids are, and they just have fun with it. I bring it in from a backyard, it costs me nothing, and of course, what am I trying to hit? All this vocabulary, pioneer species, primary succession, it's symbiotic, it's mutualistic relationships, it's an LJ, it's photosynthetic, it's autotroph, and so I feel with just hitting lichen hard, I covered a lot of vocabulary, and I think even at the higher levels and lower levels, lichen snuck in there a lot. So I think it's personally worth getting them down and dirty and playing with it. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to just hit that would be one of my biggest recommendations. If you don't do anything with lichen, you're probably missing out on biology. It's a strong feeling anyway. Let's take a picture too.
Sorry. Thank you.
You bet. But look at the vocabulary you hit with one thing that's free in a box. I basically go grab tweezers and I just throw them in boxes. In fact, I'll back up a picture just to, if you wanted to see what I throw in the boxes. I throw it just in a box. I throw a bunch of good sticks, tweezers, magnifying glasses. And you could probably tell this is a class of mixed diversity and all kinds of kids, and they like having something in their hands. And that's what we call, a little step in the adventure of using tools.
You may want to tell them that you've already dumped all this in your folder.
Yeah, I was about to show
Oh
you.
yeah, I've got all this in the folder too. So if you want to, have better, pick the stuff and pull all the folders, especially one of those animals. If you like those animals, that's all in there called Build an Organism. So that's the name of that one that I put in there. Oh, this is a cool one. Okay, so this one I came up with years ago. I haven't come up with anybody. Tell me if you've seen this one before. This is animal or plant adaptations, and basically it's using kitchen items. Okay, all those items that are kind of, and you get different things from a Goodwill or a rummage sale, and you
That one was out of the dump.
pass them around. This one is you want to whack out a kid, figure and make them think, what is that? They don't know, and they have to come up with a reason of how that's used in the kitchen. Where did humans use it, and where did it come from nature? So I'll tease them and say, I'll tell them a story about. Oh, that's cool. Wisconsin. Here's a little Wisconsin.
On the farm? On the horse farm.
So whatever you got that I grabbed, let me hear a good one.
I'll give you my base.
Oh, yours. There you go. So you can imagine how fun this is for kids to say, okay, hey, this is what I got. Give it a name. They have a hard time naming anything. And then, what in nature, where did that come from? So that's really fun, isn't it? And that's how I talk about the adaptations of plants and animals. I mean, you can't get more fun than that. Bad thing is, of course, some kids are just more insightful than others on this kind of stuff. So
my husband and I, we love going to different thrift stores. You never know what you're going to find. And I always let you tell someone, who would buy used plastic? Oh my gosh, I'm so getting you something.
I think I lost the one. If you get one of those, you know what I'm talking about, the things that take the hot pot, like it's a little mechanism that takes the thing off the stove. That grabber is very unusual looking to a
What if I
kid.
didn't have a handle?
Yes, it doesn't have a handle. That's the one. I couldn't think of.
The handle that.
What do you name that thing? But anyway, so whatever you're holding, could you imagine the animal or plant that we got the idea from? Sorry, a bad story. That's the 3M guy that started with Velcro. He got it from the thistle. So that I tell him the story of the thistle where he was walking through the woods and he got thistles all over his pants and he went, hey, let's make Velcro, right? And he made billions of dollars. I kind of exaggerate it all up. I think it's true, but whatever. I think that's true. And then I go, okay, well, somebody invented this and they probably stole the idea from an animal or a plant. Think about it. Yeah, so it's real fun. And it's a simple worksheet I gave to make them try to write it down. And, and it's a lead in talking of, I taught burdock plant, sorry, it's a burdock plant. I tell them a story about Charles Darwin's evolution behind it. So kind of fun. It looks like that all of them. How are we doing on time?
I have no idea.
3:30.
Okay, we're doing good. Okay, one of the last things I have, so then we probably have cleanup time here because I just throw it all out here. I didn't bring this one with me, but I think this is kind of cool, and I could only put so much in the car. I got evolution coming up. This is my last standard pretty much to cover here in the next 2 weeks. Actually with cladograms as well. I got something special to show you in cladogram. So this thing, I set up my room where I put all the tables together, and I make about 5 to 6 islands. The Galapagos. I used to live in Hawaii for a short time in my life. What a wonderful time. And I was weird. I bought all these sarongs. So I cover all the tables with different color sarongs, And so, and I put a binder on each table with the name of the actual island with characteristics of the island. So that, whether it be dry or wet, and I think I exaggerated on a few just to make sure that it would be, showing the different variations. And then I do a series of different little activities on those islands, to have full and bind. One of them is a DNA analysis where I give them a little strip of paper, and the DNA, they take it to an amino acid sequence where it leads them to be either a tortoise, a Galapagos tortoise, an iguana, maybe one of the Galapagos animals, the big boys.
Tortoise.
The bird, albatross,
Finch. The finch.
and the finch. Okay. So I try to hit them all, and there's like 4 of them. So their DNA tells them who they are and what they represent. Okay, isn't that cool? So once they figure that out, the next activity is they do like a frame by frame drawing where they take 2 turtles, they then have to show how they reproduce and show big variety. So the next frame they might show 10 with short, tall, fat, small, whatever. And then the 3rd frame there's a disaster they didn't see coming, and I show a big disaster up on the screen, a little video clip of a disaster. Okay? And they have to show that only 2 of them survive. They pick the 2 that they want with the best adaptation for the disaster, and then they show how that population took over. So that's how I do natural selection. Try to get them to feel it a little bit. And then that's my personal thing that I don't know if anybody's done that before, or it's a different twist of that. I think many people, if you've been around and seen this one, there's a lab that's called Beak Adaptations, where then on the table I'll put, remember I had that binder with the dry island, I'll put a food on there that would represent maybe like a hard seed, so like corn. Popcorn, and then each 4 kids gets a different instrument like chopsticks or a spoon or the different things to try to attack and eat it and get it in their cup. So which Darwin finch was best adapted to that food? But I like the spin of having the different islands because it's way more fun for the kids. They're like, what? You guys got that food? Why do you got that food in there? I'm like, well, that's the dry island. Yours is a wet island. You got that.
Yeah. I was thinking with that, because they speciated because different islands have different things. You can put a lot of something on one a little bit, and they have to find the island they survived best on.
Yeah. And my friend did that twist.
And then you can have that speciation for
who dies, who lives, all with that.
If you can't eat it there, you die.
That's fun. So 7th grade fun. I know 7th grade standard is pretty much the same.
Yeah, we do the beak adaptation.
You do the beak adaptation like that?
They love it.
Yeah.
Of course, they fight.
Yeah. Okay. Literally, and then you can see I like to play a little bit. Okay, right before I was packing up my card, my last little thing I'll share with you just for whatever you think about it. I have a whole bunch of people that throw everything out around me, and I'm a junk collector. So they were going to throw these out. I'm like, okay, I got to do something. I just came up with a cool idea. I haven't done it yet. Okay, have a group of kids cut them out and make their own cladogram. Make a cladogram.
Or a dichotomous key.
Or a dichotomous key with it. They could cut it out and make their own. That would be good buy-in. That they'd have to formulate it. Have to show them 2 or 3 samples, obviously, for sure, before you get in there and you show them what an out-group is and all that kind of stuff. But I think that's cool. So I have a whole bunch of them, and I plan on trying that. I think I might try it with my high-level class and work out the kinks on how I might implement it. But I think that might be a lot of fun, and just using junk to kind of do some fun stuff. So.
Bear's going to throw them off.
What's that?
The bear will throw
The bear.
them
Oh yeah.
Don't put out Smokey the Bear. Don't use him.
I could just see the kids doing that.
Especially with the butterflies.
Oh my gosh. So.
Smokey the Bear will
So.
make it difficult.
Oh, one more thing. have to show everything since I've dragged it all here. This year I tried making laminated mats of the energy pyramid. And I was going to do this, and it's kind of in my future because I got 2 young kids. As they grow out of their little plasticky toys of, little jungle pieces, I would love to do it where I could actually put a 3D food chain web on top of that. Wouldn't that be cool? I think even 9th graders would get a kick out of that and having fun. And I think you could make that challenge. That's my challenge for myself here in my near future. That's one of those projects I want to have, slowly done. Right now, of course, I just do it more. Give them a couple cards of information, they have to figure it out. But that's in my near future. Cool. Well, thank you. That's everything.
That is awesome.
Cool. Thank you.